says stream is up. Here, mic check.
Good.
Try again.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Now I can. And mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2.
There you go. You're good now.
Perfecto.
Alright, that means we are now live here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Yard of Bricks for round 2 of the XRS Mercury Cup Series. I'm Fancy403, joined alongside AKDJ 2006. Tonight we are here at Indianapolis. Another series that was also there today was the IndyCar Series, the NTT IndyCar Series. They ran their first of 2 Indy Grand Prix races where Alex Palou got the victory there. And AK with Indianapolis, even with us being in a video game, Indianapolis is just that much historic to try and get a win.
Yeah, Indianapolis is probably one of the toughest tracks, especially with this package, to get a win because with this track being so flat, everyone's pretty much bumper to bumper for most of this race, and it's very much a draft dependent race, which is something we've seen during the practice sessions, which we ran earlier on, is that you can run much faster in the draft rather than out of the draft. And with this new tune, we're seeing a very close racing, very much bumper to bumper racing throughout most of it. As you can see in the qualifying session, everyone is pretty much on the same straight. For the most part, of course, some cars are a little farther off who have decided to just take a second to let everyone go, as they just don't like the ghosting and going through people. But especially at this track, this year with this tune, it should be a very hard one to win because it is going to be so competitive with this tune.
Yep, and the tune that we are referring to tonight, it is a very simple package. You have upgraded front tires, meaning the width of those front tires are upgraded to the maximum, and then the actual horsepower itself is reduced tonight. It's reduced to 55% of the power. Now, you might be wondering, that sounds really slow. And in reality, it's not that much slower than running full speed. Sure, you're not going 200 miles an hour entering turns 1 and 3. You might be going only about 170-ish, so it does reduce the speed by quite a bit. But the racing that we saw in the testing, we saw pack racing. And if you thought we had pack racing at Daytona, no. Here in the test sessions, we had one test session with about a dozen or so drivers, and in that session, we probably saw 3 and almost 4 wide racing in most parts of the track, which it pretty much is unheard of here at Indianapolis. And following from last week at Daytona, following the post-race report, 3 drivers got either warnings or penalties. One of them being the most affected was Rocket. And it's such a shame. He had a good run at Daytona, but with a pretty much very avoidable accident that happened between him and STG Oracle. Incident that happened between him resulted in a 25-point deduction for Rocket. And it's going to hurt a lot, especially because I don't even think Rocket's here tonight. Not because we told him not to be here. No, it's because Rocket, he has his own racing schedule that he needs to try and show up around, which is also the reason why you won't see Kart Racer here at all, probably for majority, if not the entirety of this season. So he was the one most affected. Subsonic got a light warning for reckless driving, and then Ghost got a regular warning for dangerous driving. The way the warning systems work, you can afford to get 3 light warnings before your 4th offense is a penalty. You can afford to get 2 regular warnings before your 3rd offense is a penalty. And then for heavy warnings, if you see where I'm going, you can only get 1 heavy warning. 1 heavy warning, and then your next result, no matter what it may be, will result in a penalty. So the warnings, with that little bit of differentiation that you can have in that warning system, makes it to where drivers can see to where we can give chances, and we think that's fair. Based off the qualifying order tonight, it does look like it showed that Tomato Drifts got the pole off of the time frame. AK, is that looking correct on your end? Yeah, at all these times, what sucks is that we can't looking at the event results here from the previous event. It goes off of who crossed the line first for this finishing order. It does not go off of everybody's times. So, like Shady, it shows Shady Phonic in first when he doesn't have the fastest time. Okay, so all right, so just making sure we have it correct there. So Tomato Drifts on pole for tonight. And it will be interesting to see here. 61 laps, well, 60 laps plus the one pace lap to be ran tonight. And you see right there in the bottom window, quick stops. There are 2 quick stops that will be forced on tonight. Reason being, pit strategy. We talked about it at Daytona, where Daytona was a one-stop race. Indianapolis is a no-stop race. We noticed in the testing, and we noticed throughout the practice sessions on how much fuel and tire wear you had at Indianapolis. And for the distance that we were going for, this is a pit stop free race if we didn't force these quick stops. So XRS, Kart, pretty much when I say XRS, it's Kart, Culture, myself, and a couple moderators. We had a chit chat, and we came to the conclusion for Indianapolis, we must force pit stops since you don't even need to go to pit road this race at all. So very, very interesting for sure that for here, pit strategy is not a factor. So AK, if pit strategy is really not a factor in terms of your performance, how could it affect the timing of when you elect to make these 2 stops?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Obviously, you can do it right at the very beginning. You do some late, but this might you might want to do people back to back. Get them
Mm-hmm.
out of the way right at the beginning, back to back. You don't have to worry about it later on. Yeah, you'll probably lose a lap or two if you do that, but you're also going to have to bank on caution. In the pack races, this is what we've seen. We're seeing not a lot of caution, but compared to seasons prior, we're seeing sort of a rise in caution. And that's just because it's a different type of racing for a lot of these drivers. So what might work here might not pick up immediately. It might work here, but when we go to Indianapolis the second time or the championship race, it might not work because by then we'll be used to this new style of racing. So there's going to be, we might see a lot of different combinations when we see people come in. We may not even see the green flag. There's a green flag pit stop that we usually see where we see a bunch of cars come down whenever everybody cycles in. We might see cars come out through the entirety of the race. It's just going to be very dependent on what people decide to do and what people want to do with themselves.
Yeah, or they might elect to, you know what? Let's hope I'm actually involved in a caution, so then I can go down to pit road for repairs, because that counts as one of your quick stops. So we could see a mix of people just hoping, like, you know what? I'm bound to get into a wreck or two. I'm just gonna wait for that, then I'm gonna go down to pit road rather than making a scheduled stop. But for someone who might do that, and let's say they're not around a wreck, now you're getting in trouble here. Well, let's say you're approaching the lap 25 range and you haven't gotten into a wreck at all, or maybe we don't even see a wreck. You never know. Don't even see a wreck until then. Now you're starting to get worried because you definitely don't want to pit with around 5-10 laps to go, just so then you can get your second stop in. So, as you said, we're not going to see that green flag run. We're not going to see drivers just go down to pit road because they're running low on fuel and or they need new tires. I could expect the most common strategy tonight to be make one guaranteed stop halfway at around the lap 30 mark. So there we might see drivers come in if they haven't made any of their quick stops yet. And then the second one, hope that you're in a yellow. Hope that you're in a yellow, or if you're not even in the yellow, to go down pit road for repairs, just go down pit road anyway, while we're pacing and while the cars pass by. So very much going to be a very big random factor that's going to happen tonight, and should be very interesting to see. And as you stated, the championship is at this track, but the championship race is going to be a longer event. I believe the championship race is going to be 75 laps rather than the 60. So, do you think race pace could be a little bit different for tonight since it's shorter from what we could expect in the championship race?
Early on, I think it will be a little bit slower than what we'll see later on in the race, and that's just because, yet again, in pack racing and with 21 cars in the lobby, it's going to be giant. It's going to be one giant pack, and people just have to adjust to who they're racing around and racing around other people. So I think at the very beginning, we're going to see it fairly slower compared to the end of the race, and that's just people adjusting to different type of racing, racing around people, because it is going to, it's not hard to pass here, but you need to make smart moves to be able to pass. You can't just dive down to the inside and hope that nothing's going to happen. If you dive down to the inside, especially in turn one, you're going to cause a wreck. People just need to be smart about the moves they make, and the race pace will gradually get faster and faster.
Last week we had 26 drivers attempt to make the season opener at Daytona, and we needed to cut down the field to 22. Here's still a fairly large field though, 21 drivers in the entry for tonight, and here is your starting order. As we said, Tomato Drift's on pole here tonight with Shady Phonic in second place. Probably a career best in XRS for Shady Phonic. Smokey Eunuch, he qualified second at Daytona, and he keeps his qualifying consistency and qualifies third here at Indianapolis tonight. FME Sports, after having a solid run at Daytona, qualifies fourth. JDMX Culture in fifth, with Dawson in sixth. Off-Road Hype, the season opener winner last week, qualifies in seventh. U5A MVP in eighth. That'll leave JDMX Hawk in 9th, and Toros IG, haven't seen him in a while, in 10th, and also another driver we haven't seen in a while, there's the order as well, Nova So Smooth in 11th, haven't seen him in a while in XRS. In 12th we have Sly the Uberman, 13th we have RPM Assassin, 14th STG Oracle, 15th Rough Rabbit, 16th Back in Black, in 17th is RZX Cam, and 18th Smiley is here, and 19th Subsonic, and 20 Raptor Play YT, and then 21 Diamond Foxy. That rounds off the field, and these cars should be going fairly soon as we're loading in here for on the track. And there they go. So, AK in the test sessions, a lot of drafting, a lot of essence of what we have. Now, here at Indy, the one difference, like I say, we're seeing Daytona-esque drafting here at Indianapolis in the test sessions. Here, it's a longer race, there's more drivers than those test sessions, but also, one very key critical factor, there is no tandem rule here for Indianapolis. The tandem rule is only in place for Daytona. So, will we see some two-car tandem action?
Oh, for sure, and I think we'll honestly see more than two cars if we make it. It's gonna be a very much driver-dependent race and manager-dependent race. But of course, that being said, there's gonna be some cars who will want to tandem and teammate.
Very much, yeah. If you can get the run, if you can develop it, it is going to be very well for you to try and pass. And AK, somebody in the stream is saying that they can't hear you.
tiny bit. Or it might be on your end.
Okay, no, we're good to hear you now. I just tested on the stream and it's good to hear now. Alright. Cars off of turn 4 for the pace lap. Tomato has from the start of those barrels off to the left on the screen, all the way to the start line. 20 laps to go, and there we go. We're racing at the Yard of Bricks. Round 2 of the XRS Mercury Cup is underway.
Everyone going close to the lineup. Back as soon as possible.
Oh no. Whoa, who just heavily lagged?
Someone lagged or looked at the cause race control is called
RZX Cam and Subsonic. Oh, half the lobby. Yeah, backing out.
A lot of people lagged.
Ooh. Subsonic, Smokey, Cam, and others. Yeah, a lot of people lagged out at once.
Calling for a complete restart of the race.
Okay. Now, this is under the rule book to where if we have a major connection issue right at the start, we can indeed reset the race. And that's what's going to happen right now.
Has that ever happened before in XRS?
It has happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just say I don't remember it happening in recent memory.
yeah, the one time that it happened a long time ago, and it didn't even happen at the beginning. This happened back when we were called PPRL. It was a race at Sonoma, and with about, I believe this was a long race that we had at Sonoma. I want to say the race was like 70 laps or something like that. And with about 20 laps to go, 25 laps to go, somewhere around there, the entire lobby crashed. Everybody. Completely crashed. And we had to make a decision whether if we wanted to reset the race or if we wanted to call it there. Some people were making their way through their pit stops, others had not quite pitted yet, so for their final stop. So the decision was made to just call the race there, and everybody needed to remember their positions. So
New lobby is going to be made.
Alright. So new lobby. Now we need to wait until... Here, we'll back out.
I also think we will be gaining maybe a driver or two.
If we gain... We could only afford to gain one. Yeah, I see you guys all in the chat waiting here. And I mean, these things happen. There's nothing we can really do to prevent that. So now here the new lobby's made. Okay, right now we're at 22. AK, are you in the lobby? Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay. So, there's Smokey. Now we're at the original 23 that we had to start. Culture, Rough Rabbit, Sub. There's Raptor, Diamond, Foxy, Shady Phonic, Oracle, Nova. I don't believe Nova had a number claimed. Because I'm not even sure he was expecting to race this season.
You believe we're gonna get one more?
Let's see here. And either way, the number that he's in is unclaimed, the 96. Off-road, Smiley, Tomato, Assassin, Hawk, Sly, FM, Toro Saiji. He also has not claimed a number, but the car that he's in is unclaimed, so that's good. Back in Black, U5A MVP, Dawson, RGX Cam. Ah, Smokey being very creative of the use of his number 7. A 7-up car.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to use it.
Yeah? Okay, if there is... Alright, okay, I think I know who the last one is now. I think the last one joining in the lobby is Ring Wraith. He might be under a different name, but I think that's the one who is trying to get in. He is, for those of you who might not know Ring Wraith, for those of you in our Discord, Ring Wraith is known as Prawn Daddy in the Discord. I don't know if that's now his new permanent gamertag or if his gamertag is still Ring Wraith. It has been a long time since he has made a start in XRS, so if he's able to race tonight, good on him. He is listed as an admin, or not an admin, a moderator, because he does help us on moderating some decisions, so he pretty much he helps out when he can. Oh, okay. Now we're able to get the restart going. Yeah, I believe we can only afford to do 2 lobby resets if that's the case. Actually, I'm not quite sure because we haven't gotten to that number yet. So hopefully we do not get to that new number tonight. Alright, now they're pacing back again for the second time. Yep, you see MVP, Toros moving up to get behind Dawson's bumper. Yeah, that is something that doesn't happen often, but some drivers, they may elect just to go to the back of the pack. Yeah, based off of all the testing that we saw, this is the largest group that we've had at Indy in these cars in this package, so for sure should be a fun one and exciting one tonight, and hopefully it can be intense all the way to the very end. Now around here, around the exit of turn 4, this is where usually the Indy cars go green for the Indianapolis 500, and then further up more past the XRS start zone is where the Cup cars would usually go when they used to race on the Brickyard circuit. So from right here, Tomato, he elects to go green. Attempt number 2 at green flag at the Brickyard. People had more practice. Yeah, I had 2 attempts. So already Smokey, he's going to be to the inside with help from Coulter. There you see already 2 lanes getting more well driven together. It's unclear whether if they're able to hold the outside very well, because we didn't really see that in testing. We saw a lot of single line and then everybody broke loose 3 wide just so then they can try to make a move towards the very end. And already it looks like it's going to be Smokey Unic leading them down the front stretch to lead lap 1. Or maybe 3 wide for 4th. There's JMX Hawk also making his way, trying to get to the inside of off-road, but he cuts up in front. Dawson, he can hold it all the way through, but he has a very sharp angle for turn 4, so actually MVP's in the best line, and he is clear down, and he will take the spot. Whoa! Hawk making it tight squeeze, 3 wide for third. Once again, Dawson on the very inside. Dawson has the advantage of holding that low line, but it's more of the entry and exits where he can struggle in because he has such a sharp angle that he needs to hang on to. And speaking of hanging on, Hawk able to make a great save right there, but now he's going to get trained through the middle. Now Toros losing spots more. He's going to get stuck in the middle. Smokey on the high line, Nova on the bottom. Hawk can now help from Culture. A scramble all the way back here for 10th position. And whoa, Nova! Needing to try and hang on. And around Toros goes! That's Toros IG collecting others. Toros IG, Diamond Foxy spinning at the back of the pack. Raptor involved as well. And now let's see them coming back to the caution flag, exiting turn 4. And it was MVP in off-road. Like we said, there is no tandem rule here at Indianapolis. They got themselves into a tandem, and they were able to create a little bit of a gap between them and Dawson, who was leading that pack. Yeah, you see 4 cars stuck on the backstretch, 1 car trying to catch the field, 2 cars down pit road already. So now first, we did, yeah. So, as you can see, with the racing that we were very much seeing, yeah, cars were able to make gains, take advantage of opportunities. You saw Dawson, him making his moves. You saw Hawk making his moves. And then you saw others plunder. Toros, obviously, he started to fall back when he had that contact with Hawk, and that ultimately caused him to get into that stirrup with the wreck. Another driver who's faded back since the start, Smokey Eunuch. He started 3rd and he's fallen back to 9th. It looks like, yeah. Well, a lot of people probably then just electing just take care of a quick stop right now. Like you said, Subsonic being the only driver that stays out. So this will be very interesting, considering that Subsonic, we saw him get a little squirrely. He did have a light warning assessed to him from last week at Daytona. Ah, okay, so Subsonic, he already got assessed for repairs to pit road. Alright, so since he was involved in the yellow, that sets him back. So actually, the grid order hasn't changed. It makes it to where everybody who went into pit road comes out in that same order. MVP, he's elected the inside line. And for AK, for what we've seen so far, we've technically seen 2 starts to this race. And then here we're going to see the restart. Oh, now MVP switches to the outside. Is that a good move, starting on the outside? Mm-hmm. Well, let's ride along with him on his game camera. He has a teammate behind him in Hawk, but then also it's a teammate to off-road to the inside, so it should be very interesting to see for this restart. Restart number 1 at Indianapolis. And he does get that good jump, and he's able to dip down to the inside. Off-road trying to give Hawk a little bit of a draft, because Hawk, he doesn't really have anyone directly on his bumper right now. And there we see Hawk. He is able to contest for that 3rd position on the outside lane with him and Dawson. Dawson and Hawk, these two very more on the aggressive side of drivers, definitely will take advantage of opportunities as Hawk, with a massive run, dives down to the bottom. Because now this will leave MVP and off-road kind of hung out on that outside line. And we haven't really seen the outside going throughout the race, but here off-road able to give a good bump to MVP, but MVP's not quite clear. He can't move down low because Dawson's there. Here they come. Here they come. If this were the finish, bam, MVP would have won that one by skosh. Yeah, the strength of that tandem that they're holding right now, they're not fading that fast. They're not fading that fast, and Tomato, he's trying to break him up a little bit. Because now Dawson and Hawk, they've cleared MVP and off-road, so now Tomato's trying to deal with them. But for a while there, they were holding strong on that high line. So maybe that's a tandem that we can look out for sure tonight. So in a matter of only a handful of laps, MVP goes from leading the race, getting a good push from off-road, now falling all the way back to around the 6th, 7th position. But they are falling back to another teammate in JDMX Culture, so that could help their situation here. Smokey definitely, he tucks in line. And there, Tomato took a look to the inside of Hawk, but Hawk's denying him. He's blocking. Whoa! He's pretty much mirror driving him right now. And there, he just moves up a little bit. Okay, so caution called by race control. Let's pull up the map real quick as Hawk's trying to defend. We do see one car stowed away, so Tomato's stuck on the outside. Smokey, he might have a run here. Who's going to have the lead at the caution flag? Not quite, getting hung up on that outside lane. So unless Dawson makes a run, it looks like Hawk will come back to the line. And he will, with the fight for second, Dawson. Yeah, very much the racing here up front has been close. It has been intense from what we're used to seeing. At Indianapolis, we're used to seeing the whole field spread out and everybody just battling for one position at a time. Here, one position at a time could be the difference between 11th and 6th. So you're predicting photo finish is what I'm hearing? Photo finish. I did say I gave 3 bold predictions for this season before we even got to the testing, like the official test sessions. My 3 bold predictions were 1, I said, 1, I think we're going to have a new champion. A new champion for this season. I don't think it's going to be somebody who has multiple championships or even one championship right now. I think a new driver will win this year's championship, this season's championship. So that's 1. That's 1 bold prediction. The second, speaking of second, looks like some drivers going to be making their second quick stop. Does anybody stay out this time? And Forza glitches out. I think that was Sly? No. There we go. So, there we go. Now we're back to the. Now we're back to the front. All right. So, moving on here. Second, I predicted that we were going to see a 3-wide photo finish. Now that might be very bold, but here for this race, or maybe even for the championship, you don't think drivers are going to give it their all, especially in this package? We've seen 3-wide already being able to hold it. And we saw 3-wide for the lead in testing. So it's possible and it's doable. I just think we might see it this season. Now, for the third bold prediction that I gave for this season, was that we were actually going to see legitimate pack racing at one of the Daytona races. So we are going to Daytona 3 times. I would say we got close for the first race at Daytona. because after the restarts, you saw a lot of guys go to the inside. That's not kind of legitimate pack racing. That's that's Forza pack racing. Everybody in the single file, but I think a lot of people can hold like how they were in the 2023 Daytona 500, where a lot of the cars, they're just on the inside and the outside trying to keep each other's energy. So hopefully the more times we race, the more times these drivers are going to be comfortable to be able to do that. Now here, going to approach for the restart. Like we said, from the start of that wall to the start line, Smiley at any point can elect to go. And now he does. Smiley, Rough Rabbit, Subsonic, Tauros lead the field to green. Whoa! Big wreck into turn number 1! There were a lot of cars scrambling. Hawk, Sly, and Diamond Foxy all slow at the back. Meanwhile, there's a big separation in the field between 7th and 8th. So now, yes, caution called. No, now the Twitch bot worked. Good to know. Let's take a look. What's our stream time running right now? Oh yeah, 48 minutes. And now the Twitch bot worked. Oh my god. Yeah, for those in our Discord server, which by the way, if you would like to join our Discord server, go ahead. We have, in reality, we're trying to build a community in there with all of our members, and it's a really good benefit. Now, with bots, you love them and you hate them, because we love that we can have a Twitch bot, so whenever we go live, we can send the ping notification to the server. We can have the ping notification to the server that, hey, it tells and pings everybody in the server that we are live, and that allows people who are in the race just to participate and watch it. And we initially didn't have a bot. We initially had just probably me or AK would be the one to literally post the stream link in the Discord server. So we purposely got a Twitch bot to get set up. And the first time, yeah, it has worked twice in the 3 times that we have used it. So the first time, it was only 5 minutes late, and so we're like, okay, 5 minutes late, that's not too bad. But here, the second time we used it, it didn't work. And that was for the opener at Daytona. The Twitch bot never sent a notification that we were live, so that was a bummer. And now here, the bot is pretty much, it was 45 minutes late. And delivering the ping notification, so. Oh yeah. So Sorry to those in our Discord who might have been waiting for that ping. Yeah. Okay. Well, back here, we're on lap 17 of 61. 16 have been completed thus far. Smiley, he did a pretty decent job leading for that restart here. Smiley, what a turnaround you can imagine for him right now. He didn't even make the race last week. Smiley, he was one of the 4 drivers that were eliminated from the starting 26. So here he goes from not making the race last week to now he's leading at Indianapolis. Let's ride along with him being side by side with Rough Rabbit. And he elects to go probably the earliest out of everybody. We're back to green flag. Smiley got a really good start. Car, yep. So, Oracle, he was slow coming off of turn 1. And up ahead further! Couldn't quite tell who that was who got into the wall. That was RPM Assassin. RPM Assassin got into the wall. Rough Rabbit, Smiley, who's gonna be the leader? Whoa. Is it so close? Ooh. It was Smiley, and there he goes. Smiley takes the lead. You don't race in reverse view, AK? You don't race in reverse view? Why not? Why can't you be the world's best backwards driver? And now you said that after this yellow, now the intervals will be put into play. Yeah. Ah. Well, a warning can only be assessed, like, you can be told, like, hey, cut it out during the race, but that doesn't count as an official warning. It's the post-race report where that's where you can get an official warning, The worst thing that you can get during a race is a black flag. And a black flag in XRS is pretty much a disqualified. And so you're disqualified. That will be the harshest thing that can happen to you on track. Other things that can happen to you on track is you are requested to go to the tail end on a restart, or you're requested to give up a certain position. Alright. Yeah, Diamond Foxy, it was rough for him because he was a driver who ended up getting a partial suspension, as we call it. And what it is we pretty much allow you to race, and if there's not that many drivers, we even allow you to qualify, but you are not allowed to compete in the actual race. So that is a partial suspension to where you're only suspended from racing, you're not suspended from attending XRS events. It's very different from, let's per se, Hawk suspension that he sustained. Hawk suspension that he sustained was a full thing. He wasn't allowed anywhere in XRS events. So, but here, obviously, that was last season. Here, this season, a lot has changed. He kind of has his second chance opportunity here. So, very flexible in how we're able to assess when needed. They haven't quite gone to green yet, and they wait until the end. Yeah, Smiley, he went from immediately going to green to now he waits probably 40 yards from the line to go green. Oh, Raptor and Oracle back for the 10th, near 10th position. They almost got together, and they almost get together again. Very, very close to, if not quite there. Raptor around on the front straightaway. Sly Uberman with him, and Nova also making contact around. Yep, they need to continue. That is the unfortunate outcome of these caution intervals. The race will stay green. Meanwhile, up front, Smiley back to the front. Toros trying to make a charge with Rough Rabbit behind him. Tomato sitting in fourth. Rabbit now to the bottom of Toros for the second with help from Tomato. Smiley trying to pinch him off into turn 3. Yep, because now Hawk able to get a run with FN behind him, so Taurus might fall all the way back to 7th. Rough Rabbit with a run to the inside. Smiley trying to move down low slowly and slowly. He pinches off Hawk for making a move to the inside of him. Now Tomato being strung out on the outside with FM making a move back up towards the front. Yep. And Smiley, he ran just a half lane higher. He probably wants Hawk to get a run. So then if he blocked that run, that energy that gets carried back into him so he could try to make a move for the lead. Whoa! We were looking back from Hawk as now he has a run to the inside of Rough Rabbit. We didn't quite see Smiley get into the grass because we were looking behind Hawk. Pretty much ran out of room. He was trying to find just that ever so slight more grip that he can try to get out of these cars. And he wasn't quite able to do it there. Now, FM Esports, let's talk about FM here for a second. He's riding along in the second position, trying to keep Rough Rabbit behind him. FM, he had a great run there towards the end of last season. Smoke a little bit as Diamond tried to get back up onto the track. But FM, he had a good running, probably his best running in a cup car for the championship last season. Had a good run at Daytona last week, and now here he's trying to make another good run around a two-time champion in XRS, being Hawk. So now Culture was able to get around Rough Rabbit to keep Smokey behind him. So now Culture's up to third. And FM, he's in between two teammates. So, not sure if this is the picture that he likes to see, but also, FM doesn't need to look too far behind for a teammate. That's Smokey. Smokey Unique is FM's teammate, so teammates running 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. Yeah, but it's all going to be a matter of what position are you in and when do you want to make that move. When do you want to dip to the inside or try to get a run on the outside, try to get more grip out of your car, the much as you can. That was FM and Culture, right? Yeah, FM and Culture were very close. Now, so now Smokey here, he clears to second, takes Rough Rabbit with him, and Smokey, whoa, he's dancing. He wants that lead. And, oh, there's a lap car up ahead that's just exiting turn 4 right now. So depending on how long these guys hold like this, not for long, Smokey to the inside, he's going to try to get to the lead. So now Smokey to the front. Oh, but he has help. Oracle, yeah, Oracle slides up. He has help on that outside now. Rough Rabbit with no push. Hawk, oh, he tried to tuck it down low in 4, but Smokey, he was able to notice that and try to cut him off a little bit. And now we're at the halfway point in this race. Hawk has that run! Very close. And now he gets it again. Yep, now Smokey with no push unless anybody moves up. Rough Rabbit, he does for a split second. And now Smokey, he's just really trying now to pinch that inside so then he can have a preferred exit. Going to be 3 wide for third. Yep, FM to the bottom, Rough Rabbit in the middle, Culture up top, Culture clears. Culture now to Hawk! FM trying to make the run there as well. Culture comes down, and there they go. I think he's able to keep it off the wall. Yeah, he kept it off walls and nobody hit him from what we saw. And now Smokey to the outside of Hawk, with Rough Rabbit helping him. There's the lap car that we were talking about. Looks like that's Sly the Uberman. And AK? They cannot hear you on the stream. Yeah, audio is included. Apparently you keep cutting in and out, to where some moments they hear you, some moments they don't. Alright. So now Rough Rabbit, Smokey working together here. As it doesn't look like Rough Rabbit's just going to try and go around Smokey. It looks like he's more trying to help him in a tandem. Like we said, no tandem rule here. And now we need to see how strong and dominant the tandem actually is. Should be good. For those of you watching, are you able to hear AK right now? We'll continue back to as if he were for sure here. Okay, Gamer says no. Yeah, Ghost says no. And Ray says no. So, nope, they cannot hear it.
I don't know.
Rough Rabbit looking down to the bottom of Smokey. He was working with him for a little bit. Now side by side into turn 1, and that allows Hawk to get a massive run. He almost shunted Rough Rabbit. Now Smokey gets hang out to dry on the outside. Gonna fall all the way back to 4th. And contesting side by side with Off-Road for third. Hawk
Oh!
getting squirrely around Rough Rabbit. Hawk, we know he's going to want that lead. So
Oh
he
yeah, we've
tucks in
seen
line
Hawk
right
be
now.
very aggressive. He's been very aggressive pretty much the entire race with both blocking and trying to make moves. There he is. He's going to take it to the inside.
And he has helping teammate Off-Road. There they go on the bottom. But now this allows Smokey with a huge run, and he doesn't go with Rough Rabbit. He goes to the inside, following Off-Road.
Smokey's now side by side with Rough Rabbit.
Not
So Rough Rabbit's going to be...
clears.
Yeah, Rough Rabbit's going to be put all the way back to that 5th position. So now he's going to fall back in line behind Oracle. Also, they can't hear me now. I had to flick the voice connected on and off on Twitch.
Yeah, because Ray's, I heard him when he said, I don't know. So whatever you were doing, whatever you changed, right when you said, I don't know, it worked.
It was probably turning voice connected on and off.
Alright. Now we're good to our regular broadcasting.
Yeah, Off-Road and Hawk are just
Yeah.
tandeming now, so they're starting to make that gap a lot bigger. Smokey, Oracle, and Rough Rabbit, at least 2 of them need to get a tandem going for them to be able to catch these 2.
So now the first 5 cars in a pull away, and then 6, 7, 8, and 9th, they're all in a small pack, with Tauros leading that, with Dawson in 7th, MVP in 8th, FM in 9th. And Subsonic, RZX Cam by themselves in 10th and 11th. 12th and 13th are near each other. Assassin and Phonic. Culture by himself. Tomato by himself. Back and Black by himself. Smiley and Nova by themselves. Sly in 19th, 1 lap down. Raptor, I believe he's probably 1 or 2 laps down. And then Diamond Foxy, who knows how many laps down he is, not quite sure. I'll wait for the ticker to pass by a few times.
Ben, remember the question that you asked me at the beginning of this race, that would the race pace stay how it was in qualifying? I said it would get faster as the night went on, and I think I've been pretty much dead on, as MVP so far has the fastest lap at 57.098, so almost a full 2 seconds faster than qualifying.
Very much so.
Caution is out.
Okay, so a caution being called. We do not see one car very slow on the mini-map, as we do have it pulled up. But now you heard it, and it is true. Caution now at the line. There is one car that just went down to pit road, so let's see who that is.
Oh, yep, Subsonic. A lot of damage on him.
Yeah, so Subsonic, we didn't necessarily see him go very slow. So
yeah, he definitely had some suspension and brake damage. I think he might have just hit the wall, maybe. Just somebody tapped him, he hit the wall, but he kept it straight and kept his speed up. But he definitely had some damage to at least some sort of components.
all right.
Just going off messages I'm seeing, I would assume Cam might have hit him and he might have hit a wall somewhere.
Okay. If that's what we're hearing from race control, we can assume that that is the situation that might have happened.
What I can confirm is that Cam and Subsonic are involved, and I'm just going to assume that he did hit a wall, whether an outside wall enough to damage him, because the majority of the damage was on the front right side.
Yeah. Yeah, and usually that's very much a telltale sign that was for sure an impact to the wall. Typically, when these guys are more of a higher single pace speed, we talk about how that turn 4 wall can very much bite you, as it approaches a lot quicker than some people think it does. So, but here, I don't think that's the case in this package, with how flat out you can actually be running in this package. So, for the most part, it's, yeah, my best guess is happened by contact.
Yeah, my best guess is probably turn 4 somebody that being somebody Cam might have just got him loose, sent him to the outside of turn 4 wall, or reverse of that, turn 2 with that bump that we seen earlier that Toros hit. Maybe Cam hit that same bump, got into Subsonic there and put him in the wall like we seen Toros do. Those are just my guesses, just knowing the track, but anything could have happened. All I know is that he probably hit a wall on the outside, got damage to his front right, and there was contact made from Cam to Subsonic. That is pretty much all I know.
Sly and Raptor back on the lead lap now after this caution flag. Diamond Foxy back to 1 lap down. We still have all drivers that we did when we first started this race. And here, when they get back to green, we're going to be near the 20 lap to go mark. JD Max Hawk and Off-Road will lead the front row to green this time, with Smokey and Oracle in the second row. And then row 3 is made up of Rough Rabbit and Dawson.
So the cutoff for this race is lap number 57, so we might be able to get 1, maybe 2 more cautions in if they do happen. But yeah, obviously caution intervals are now a thing throughout the entire race. They don't just turn off after we go for a long green flag run. So obviously if a couple cars wreck early on, depending on who they are, it could very much change the outcome of the race.
Very much can be. I feel like everybody to this point has made the quick stop, so that's one thing that we for sure probably do not need to worry about. And as we said, here coming to the green, we're going to be near the 20 lap to go mark. Now the green flag's back out. And I believe Hawk changed lanes before the restart.
Yeah, I think he might have.
It definitely...
He at least went half a lane higher, if not more.
No, it definitely looked like that. Hawk, he moved up to the high line before crossing the line. You must stay in line, even if you are the leader, you must stay in line until you cross that line.
I think he was trying to get hooked up with his teammate Off-Road, who was on that high line, of course.
Yeah, very much, but the way that he did it, he wasn't quite clear of that line yet before he moved up. So we will take a look at that after the end of this race. We will see if that is worthy of a warning or potentially a point deduction, because that is against the rules. You are supposed to stay in line until you reach the start line.
Smokey a little bit of contact to the wall at turn number 4, but he was able to keep his speed up.
Oh, Off-Road, I think he got into the wall just a little bit.
There, a lot of cars had to check up there. Almost a wreck. Rough Rabbit kept it straight. A lot of cars checked up into turn number 2. I think because of what you said, Off-Road hitting the wall. It was almost a stack up because of it.
Yeah, Off-Road, he almost got Forza walled. You definitely heard someone making contact with the wall, and Off-Road was the closest one to it, so that's why I assumed it was Off-Road. Plus, there was a gap that formed for a brief moment between him and his teammate. So now that's allowing drivers from the back near the 10th position to work their way up, 1 car wide and 4. They're able to stay out of it, stay out of the wall.
A lot of cars wide into turn number 4. Smokey hit the grass and slid up the track. Almost had a repeat of what happened a couple laps earlier to some of the leaders.
So now that's allowing drivers like Oracle and MVP. We see Dawson trying to make a run back up to the front. Toros goes wide in turn 2, and MVP! Toros! 2 wheels off the ground and hard in collision into the inside with MVP. And Shady Phonic into the wall as well.
That MVP and Shady Phonic looked almost identical to Brad's wreck here a couple of years ago.
Very much, yes. Now, unfortunately, no yellow will be called for that, since we are still within that interval period. And now look at this gap that's now in between Off-Road and Rough Rabbit. There's probably a 1 second gap now. So Off-Road and Hawk, they're making ground here.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to really challenge them, they need to be doing what they're doing, which is getting that tandem going.
And it looks like that's what Smokey and Rough Rabbit are doing.
Yeah, and that's what they need to be doing, is they need to have a very tight tandem. They're not quite as tight or as organized as Hawk and Off-Road are, so they're not going to be gaining too much time, but if they can get about as close as they are together, then they can get right up to them as well.
So now you start to see more tandems forming, as it looks like back for 5th and 6th. Those 2 cars are trying to get together and trying to form up. I believe that is, yeah, that's Oracle and FM trying to get together. And let's see here, let's go all the way back here. And that's actually a chain of 4 cars. That includes Tomato and Smiley as well behind FM. So it's a chain of 4, and that leads all the way from 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. As now FM to the inside of Oracle. Rough Rabbit and Smokey, they're together for 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, it seems to be that 3rd pack's actually catching them just ever so slightly.
Well, more cars and more momentum being able to develop with each other. Now after that wreck, MVP falls 1 lap down. Diamond Foxy now 3 laps down.
Yeah, we have a 4th pack catching up to that 3rd pack of 4 cars. Leader of that 4th pack is Nova, and they're pretty much in the stream of that 3rd pack now, which that back car is Oracle. Right now, though, Off-Road and Hawk still with a big lead in front of them. They've been very dominant all night. I think both these cars have been up front or in the lead pack pretty much all night and throughout the entirety of the race.
Very much so. Hawk, the second he was able to get his way, work his way to that front pack, and he was able to stay there. We saw him being very aggressive to hold the lead. He knows that track position is a very key, important factor. And Off-Road, him being in that 2nd position, he was tandeming earlier with MVP, and they were able to make that tandem work. So here, Off-Road finding himself a 2nd tandem. Now the question is, will Off-Road attempt to go for the win if this goes green to the end? Will he pull to the inside or outside trying to make a move? Or this was the reverse order of what we saw coming to the checkered flag week, excuse me, of what we saw last week, where it was Off-Road the leader and Hawk pushing him to the victory. Hawk even said that I just decided to give Off-Road a push for the win rather than going for the win himself. So here, could this be Off-Road trying to return a little bit of that favor, or will he try to go for 2 in a row?
And you know, that's a great point you brought up, because I was about to bring it up if you didn't. Yeah, this is pretty much the exact reverse of last week's race at Daytona. So I don't really know. I mean, I would think that Off-Road would give this one to him given the chance, but if he thinks, let's say, Rough Rabbit and Smokey catch up and it's a 4-car race, I think Off-Road might take it for himself if he thinks that Hawk can't get it. So I mean, I don't really know.
They are making up that gap. They've made probably about 3/10 in the past 2 laps. They're not catching quickly, but which, with the cars are in tandems like this, we saw this in testing. It takes a lot of momentum to catch cars really, really quickly. Or it's going to take a loss in momentum from Hawk and Off-Road. So you need to hope for them messing up a little bit. Like Off-Road, he got into the wall entering turn 1, so maybe expect a mistake out of him or a mistake out of Hawk. If it looks like Off-Road might attempt to move on him. Lap traffic up ahead, as we see. I believe that's MVP being the lap traffic ahead of him. Not quite sure.
It is actually Shady ahead of them.
Ah, so it's Shady Phonic ahead of them. Yeah, Shady Phonic now got a better angle. So Shady Phonic ahead of them. So they will most definitely catch that lap car before the end of this race. And that will affect their drafting. So will that give an opportunity for Rough Rabbit and Smokey to catch up?
It really depends on what this lap car does. If this lap car Shady doesn't realize that they're this close and accidentally uses their lane, then definitely Rough Rabbit and Rough Rabbit and Smokey could catch up. However, if the lap car does realize that where they are and they do go to the high side, which it looks like Shady will here.
Yep, he will. He hangs high. But now, with Hawk and Off-Road running offline, that's another 2/10 lost. Now they're well within the draft of them.
Yeah, and stuff like that is what will affect it. Now, not only do Rough Rabbit and Smokey have an anchor between the two packs here, but now they also have to get around this car. So it's sort of it adds some positives for the second group, but also adds some positives for the first group, because of that draft. There's that little bit of a bubble, so they did lose a little bit through that front straight there, but not too much.
You're getting ever so eager and closer as we will be approaching that 10 lap to go mark pretty soon here. And AK, like you had stated, the cutoff was lap 57, correct?
Yep.
So the cutoff being lap 57, there is still a decent amount of laps left before a caution could be called. And if a caution is called, that will change everything. That will change who's able to recoup and try to regain positions, try to get up into that top 3. Because the fight can be close of what we were seeing. I mean, we practically saw a photo finished on who was going to lead a lap between MVP and another driver. I'm blanking out who the other driver was. Smiley, yes. I'm like, it's the 84, but I forget who's driving it. Yes, Smiley. Now with this, I believe there's another lap car ahead of them. Is that lap car Taurus? Or they actually are going into pit road?
Oh! Very close off-4 for Hawk. Off-road got a little too close to him and caught his corner panel, so now this gives Rough Rabbit and Smokey a chance now.
Might give them a good opportunity, and they're there. They are pretty much there now, well within the draft, well within They're under 3/10 of a second away from Hawk and 2/10 of a second from off-road. So now Smokey Rough Rabbit here in the closing stages, trying to close in on the 2 leaders.
Yeah, I mean, off of turn number 4, I don't know if maybe Hawk checked up for Diamond Foxy, not knowing where he was going to go, or if Off-Road just gained a little bit of a boost. But now Rough Rabbit's looking on the inside with the run.
Off-road trying to block all the way to pit. Whoa! Whoa! And Hawk blocking off-road. Now 3 wide for second. 3 wide for the lead into turn 1. Rough Rabbit in the middle. Smokey on the high line. Hawk on the bottom.
Hawk has the help, though, from off-road.
Yep, he has the help. Smokey didn't go with Rough Rabbit. He went on his own way. Nearly getting contact with each other between Rough Rabbit and off-road. They need to try and get realigned. This will not help Smokey if he tries to go for the lead on the high side. He's not tucking back in line.
They're going to move up half of the lane, and they're going to get Rough Rabbit back in the draft. Smokey's going to try and fall back in line. They had a shot, but Smokey went for himself there. Might have been too early, I think.
They have a handful of more laps before the caution is for sure cut off, that they can no longer rely on it. So it took a good amount of time to build up that run, but now how long will it take up to build this next one?
Yeah, but because of all that, you can see another group behind them is not catching. They're not too far behind them. That's FM and Tomato in that third group there. They gained a lot of ground because of that fighting. Oh, there's a car almost wrecking. A great save in the group behind FM and Tomato. I want to say that was Shady who saved that. I didn't quite see who it was, but I think it was a lap car that saved themselves. But almost a caution that was needed.
That was needed for guys in the back, not named Rough Rabbit and Smokey.
Yeah.
So there. Now that leaves 3 cars 1 lap down, and Raptor has DNF'd from this race.
Okay, here we go. It's going to be round 2.
Yep, they have the run. They used the run last time in 4, but if they get it set up correctly, they could get it done in turn 2, so then they can be side by side into 3. Me personally, that's what I'd want to do. I'd want to be able to get side by side in 2 and try to battle out in 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get the run. I think where they're gaining this a little bit of time is off of number 4s. They sort of are just hugging the curb as close as they can.
Yeah,
they're hugging that curb all the way. You sort of see about a quarter car length difference between the two, I think, here in turn number 4.
Yeah, Rough Rabbit, he rides that inside all the way while they drift up. He doesn't have as big of a run as he did last time. On the way, Off-Road and Hawk, they're ready for it this time.
Going high with it, but they're not quite going to get enough. I think it'll be next time by
or
on
there.
The back right here.
He hugged the curb well. He couldn't quite get it for turn 2, though. Rough Rabbit, he's really trying to get it. It's that extra couple inches that they're able to hold it down low. They're able to get more front grip in their car. And now,
lap car in the way, though.
Yeah.
Toros.
Toros in the way, and whoa! Big run by Off-Road, or Rough Rabbit now to the inside of Off-Road. Smokey goes with Rough Rabbit this time. Now Hawk's all by himself, but he has a lap car ahead. Can he use it as a pick? Smokey to the high line.
Rough Rabbit just about hooked Hawk by accident. Caution is out, though.
Caution as they were coming to the cutoff. This changes everything for what we might have expected for the finish of this race.
Well, we knew it was going to be a good finish. Now it's going to be a great finish.
Very much. Now that's going to allow those guys that you said they were catching ever so slightly, that was Tomato and FM, now that allows that group to pounce with these guys right here up front.
Not only them, but even the group behind them that had 4 or 5 cars, Oracle, Nova, and anyone else who was back there, Nova, Oracle, Dawson, and Cam, now they all get a shot at it too. And anyone who was a lap down now also was back into it. I mean, anyone can win this race, I think. Given the right opportunity, almost anyone who was on the lead lap could win this.
Very much so. So now if you're Hawk, what do you do? Because you're not going to have a teammate behind you this time. There's 2 cars behind him that are not teammates. So for sure the car behind him and the car next to him will not be a teammate.
I honestly think you decide between Rough Rabbit and Smokey who's the better lead car, and I think that's Rough Rabbit. So I think you put Rough Rabbit on the top in hopes that off-road can sort of cut him off before those two can get hooked up, and then you can pick off Smokey in the middle. I think that's Hawk's best chance, so I think he should go high here. He knows that he's the lead car, so he'll get the jump, so he'll be able to shift down to off-road. Hopefully off-road can cut off Rough Rabbit, and then off-road can pick off Smokey, hopefully.
So, yeah, so it's only the front row gets decided here. So for sure, that third place car of Rough Rabbit, he's going to be on that inside line. And it looks like...
So then reverse what I just said.
Yeah, it looks like they're now... Yeah, Hawk is going to elect to the inside. He's going to put Smokey on the outside. Rough Rabbit, he's going to have no push. Well, because he's going to have a hungry FM behind him. So now, look at all these drivers up here now. Hawk the leader, Smokey will be second, Rough Rabbit will be third, Off-Road fourth on the high line. Now, FM and Tomato, that was the tandem that was slowly gaining. If this race were maybe 70 laps, we would maybe get them into the picture. Okay, so
scratch that.
Now moving back further here, if we can. Nova in 7th, Oracle in 8th, Cam in 9th, and Dawson in 10th. So, guys like that, we saw on one of the restarts. Guys that were in pretty much just inside that top 10, 8th, 9th, and 10th. They were able to make a run to the top 5 within a single restart. Here, it's the end of the race. So, not a lot of time for people to be gaining, and definitely not a time where you want to be losing ground.
No, definitely not. And it's not a time where you want to be the one that's going to be involved in a wreck. It is now go time, and we've already seen what they can do and how aggressive they're being with these cars and how much they're throwing them around. It wouldn't shock me if we have a wreck between now and the end of the race. So you need to put yourself in a situation where you're not going to be in that wreck, where you have an escape option. Which, depending on where you are, if you're on a straight, that might be your escape option is to go low. If you're in a corner, your escape option is high. So you need to sort of put yourself where you can have an option to escape if the wreck happens in front of you.
So now let's take a look. We're going to ride along with FM for the final restart of the race. He's going to be the 5th car, or 3rd car on the inside line. And we're going to see all of this unfold in front and behind. Hawk trying to stagger the field a little bit. Now he hits the gas and goes. Green flag back out. And it's the final restart of the race. FM didn't quite get a good start at all. That's going to allow Nova to move up, and Tomato as well.
Off-road's on the inside now, so now he has to pick apart Rough Rabbit to get the Hawk.
Tomato to the inside of Smokey. Tomato to the inside of Smokey. So now it's Rough Rabbit trying to make a move. He's going to go high. Where will Off-road go? Off-road pushes Rough Rabbit for now. He almost tried to make a move to the inside. Quite close, not there to deny him. Tomato now to the inside of off-road.
Oh! Yeah, I don't think Rough Rabbit was going to give up that spot. A lot of contact in the back. Oracle, a lot of loose doors. Dawson got on the grass a little bit. Comes back up. Everyone keeps it straight, though. Still 3 wide. We're 3 wide back there for that 7th position.
Rough Rabbit making a lot of moves here with 2 laps to go when they cross the line this time. Hawk, the leader, defending side by side for 3rd. Smokey, he's helping off-road on that high line. Rough Rabbit doing everything he can, but he doesn't have somebody directly behind him. Now Tomato has a run, but where will he go with it? Rough Rabbit to the top. Off-road following with him. Hawk on the bottom with Tomato with him.
See what Tomato does. Tomato might try and take it
Rough
right here
Rabbit.
for the position.
No, Rough Rabbit clear. Rough Rabbit now to the front through 3 and 4. When they come down to the front stretch this time, Hawk moves up.
Oh,
this time
going in the back, 4 wide in the background for a split second there.
White flag. One more time around in Indianapolis, and in terms of events, Rough Rabbit to the race lead. Tomato drifts to 2nd, and Smoky Eunuch in 3rd. FM nearly getting turned around into 1.
Oh, almost turned around 1 as FM. FM had a great run on that front stretch. Tomato still trying to find a way around Rough Rabbit. Still white
Smokey's
flag.
going to get a big run here.
Line.
Everybody panning out, trying to find a way as we're down the back straightaway for the final time. Tomato and Rough Rabbit in the grass as they enter turn 3. 3 wide, all the way behind off-road. He tried to make a move to the high line. Rough Rabbit leading them down. Turn 4, final time.
Oh!
RZX Cam, Dawson around, into the wall in 4. Does anybody have a run for Rough Rabbit?
Oh.
No, they don't, and to the line. Rough Rabbit wins round 2 at Indianapolis. What a finish that was.
That could very well be one of the better finishes of this season.
Rough Rabbit in 1st, Tomato Drift 2nd, and FM in 3rd. That's the unofficial. We did see Smokey get turned around, coming to the checkered flag.
4th.
And we will see.
Smokey, unfortunately, did not pull a Ryan Newman.
Yeah, so it's looking
least.
like Smokey is finished in 16th position currently. So unofficially, the top 3 is Rough Rabbit, Tomato, and FM. And we will need to check the finishing order. We'll need to get a confirmation from race control because there was a lot happening there. We will exit the lobby here and we will try to get a word from race control. And we do have it confirmed. Rough Rabbit, Tomato, FM, 1, 2, 3. So now, let's get that top 3 in here. And yes, Sly the Humor Man and Chad, Uber Motorsports is on top. Yeah, we see him in the chat here. So we will invite those three.
Ooh, what's up, boys? How we doing?
And we will see, most likely Tomato will decline. And if Tomato declines, we will probably go to... We'll probably go to whoever got fourth.
Tomato has declined.
Okay. Okay, so Tomato declined. And it does look like the finishing order has gotten shuffled around, so we can't even get an official fourth place finisher in here. FM Rabbit, do either one of you two know who got fourth? Like who?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, who? Okay. Not quite sure. Alright, well...
I'm being told Hawk by Off-Road. I don't, which would make sense.
Into Hawk. Okay, so we will see if Hawk can confirm he finished fourth. Oh yeah, right now you guys can go ahead. You guys can include the audio right now. And we'll go through. If we're not able to get an answer from Hawk right away, give him just a tiny bit more time. I see that he's typing.
Hawk says he was fourth.
Okay, so we will invite Hawk in here. I think Hawk already left the lobby, so now I need to find him. Okay, there he is.
I'm being told I sound like a robot again.
I have no clue, dude. From my end, you have sound fine all night, but
I sound fine on stream, so I'm gonna go with that. I'm okay.
okay. Well, I gave Hawk 2 invites, has not joined, so we will just move on to post-race. So we will begin with third place. We have to skip over second place Tomato since he declined. We do not have fourth to interview, and then Rabbit will be last. So AK, go ahead, take it away with FM.
Yeah, obviously FM, a great showing by you here tonight. We'd seen you in the top 5, top 10 range, I think pretty much all night, besides maybe pit cycles. But obviously, it seemed like you had figured out the car and figured out the track really well. It looked like you had some good drafting partners. I mean, how would the race, from your perspective, how did the race go?
Honestly, with the race, it was definitely intense, and it's just hard to pull away from anybody. It was definitely you needed friends to even go fast, even if you're battling each other, and that was the key. You weren't gonna do it by yourself. And also pit strategy, I deployed that right from the start. I unpurposely gave up my fourth place qualifying position to get my pit stops out of the way, and then just stopped coming down pit road, and as they pit, and worked my way up and passed them while they were on pit road, and maintained most of the track position, but just far enough forward to not get into a wreck and got lucky as well. And it actually worked out.
Yeah, obviously we've seen a lot of very close racing. It did seem fairly hard to try and get around people unless you had the run from and had help from somebody else. I mean, what do you think the keys to tonight were, being obviously in the top 3 yourself?
The key is trying to make the move at the right times and trying to predict as to who you're pushing and who you're pulling, and just trying to make good decisions on the fly and work with some people during the race, and then hopefully they work with you long enough towards the end and not make too many enemies, and maybe less likely to get hung out to dry. And had a partner behind me up until that last caution, which helped me try to get set up for the finish.
Obviously, with these new cars and new packages, we're sort of seeing new forms or new frequency of forms of racing, such as pack racing. How do you think you yourself and other drivers are adjusting to this new form of racing on these tracks like Daytona and Indianapolis?
Well, the big part of adjusting, usually when we're race car drivers, most of the time we're self-centered, like thinking about ourselves is, when more the driver comes into play. But the thing is, with the transition to these cars is you need to work together more than you did in the past, and try to have some allies and not try to make too many enemies, and try to make consistent good decisions. And when other drivers recognize that, they'll start working with you more when they can see if some drivers are making smarter moves than others, and if you're gonna make moves that aren't as smart, they're less likely to work with you, and that's gonna backfire. So
Yeah, well, congratulations on the top 3 tonight. Obviously, getting the 3rd position here tonight, right at the end as well. So obviously, congratulations on that, and good luck coming into the next race.
thank you.
And to you with 1st place.
Yep, obviously needing to skip over 2nd, and we go to Rough Rabbit, getting his first career victory here for XRS as a whole. Rough Rabbit, you came in late last season in the Cup cars. You were able to make a statement. You were running well, had around top 5 speed. Here tonight, it looked like it was going to come down to the wire, and then that final caution came out. What was going through your head when you were tandeming with Smokey to try and catch up that top 2, being Hawk and Off-Road, leading to the final caution?
Yeah, honestly, I give props to Smokey. He was a great tandeming partner throughout the entirety of that last bit. But through my mind, it was just run the bottom, keep gaining the little inches that you could gain, and just hopefully be in the right position to be there at the end.
Yeah, and great position there at the end indeed. It looked like it was going to take a lot to try and build up that run. You were trying to go with it, trying to find room, but what we were noticing on stream is that in the corners you were able to run just that tad bit a few feet lower. Do you think that was helping you guys in a way, getting more of that front grip into your car and trying to make that run?
Yeah, I think it played a bit of a factor. Not only that, but I mean, throughout the times that I've been racing here in this game, I've had a good experience with the Mercs, and not only that, it is home track advantage for me. But yeah, that little bit of feet that you get going into the bottom in like 3 and 4, especially when you have somebody behind you in these cars, it gives you a lot of a benefit, especially because if you run that low and run it almost to the wall even out of that exit, it'll give you a good push if you have somebody really good behind you pushing you. So I'd say, yeah, it definitely helped.
Well, and good on you. And Hal, finally, how does it feel tonight? You signed on to Uber Motorsports, led by Sly the Uberman. So here, last week, we had Off-Road to get the win for Trackhouse Racing, and here, this week, you get the win for Uber Motorsports. Tell us how you feel tonight.
Honestly, man, I feel very pumped. I feel pumped not only for myself, but I feel pumped for the team as well. I mean, you got Sly, he's a great driver all around. You got Assassin, same around that. And Crazy, he consistent as they come sometimes as well. So I mean, yeah, I'm pumped for not only myself but for the team, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have. Not only that, but to get it this early on instead of it being later on when it possibly comes down to nothing but points in the championship. I just feel more than pumped to be here, especially in this position.
Well, and good for you being able to secure the win tonight, and good luck to you for every race moving forward, and we will see where you lie next week at Sonoma. So good luck for you for next week and for the rest of this season.
All right, thank you. I genuinely appreciate it.
Right, now that concludes post-race interviews and for this broadcast. AK, what an exciting finish and what an exciting race all the way around. We knew we were going to see that Daytona-esque drafting, but really we did not expect to see it as big as we did tonight. Let's be honest here.
No, we definitely did not expect to see as close racing as we did. We knew it was definitely going to be close. We knew we were going to see some drafting, some 3 wide, but I don't think we expected 10, 11 cars to all be in the same pack and so close together. And even at one point having a 3x2, even though it didn't, of course, end in a wreck, we did have it for just those couple split seconds. So obviously with all of that, I think Indianapolis will be a great race to watch it. And luckily we go to it 3 times this year, and of course, luckily it's our championship race at the end of the year. But I mean, from these cars, at least for the first 2 showings, I'm expecting some really good racing throughout the year from these cars and these packages that we run on them. And it should be honestly be very interesting to see how the season continues. Obviously with 2 new winners, or not 2 new winners, but 2 new winners in the season and 1 new winner overall, I think we could see a lot of different winners this season.
Very much we could probably see a lot of different winners this season. So, I mean, it was insane. It was insane all the way to the end, and glad you were here with me tonight in the booth to be able to see this and enjoy that spectacle that we saw of racing here at Indianapolis in these cars. Next week, we have seen what they can do on drafting-esque races 2 weeks in a row, but now next week we're able to see the Mercs on the road course for Sonoma Raceway, where we will see how these cars handle and the way that drivers might get shuffled around. As we've seen in a trend this season, drivers who were slow in previous seasons or drivers who were not quite a top 5 speed driver, but then all of a sudden this car resets the playing field and you see a lot of those cars coming into the top 5 picture now. So for now, it's so long, and good night, good evening, wherever you may be watching this. This was another XRS presentation of Round 2 at Indianapolis. We will see you next week at Sonoma Raceway. Until then.